The sound of the doorbells echoed through the empty hall of Clark's Bistro. Ethan Clark, with a dirty apron and tired eyes, was leaning over the marble counter, studying the restaurant's accounts. The place, which used to be one of the trendiest spots in town, was now in decline, with few occupied tables and an aura of despair hanging in the air. "Ethan, we can't go on like this," said Sarah, the manager and Ethan's loyal friend, as she approached with a notebook. "The suppliers are pressuring us. We need to make a decision." Ethan sighed, running a hand through his disheveled brown hair. "I know, Sarah, but I can't let this place die. This restaurant was my parents' dream." Clark's Bistro had been founded by his parents, Robert and Margaret Clark, over 30 years ago. The place was famous for its innovative fusion cuisine, combining flavors from different cultures into unique dishes. But since his parents' sudden death in a car accident, Ethan had struggled to keep their legacy alive. Unfortunately, financial difficulties and increasing competition were making it almost impossible. That night, as Ethan was locking up the restaurant, he felt a familiar presence. It was Emily, his ex-girlfriend and talented chef who had left town in search of new opportunities. "Emily, what are you doing here?" Emily, with her blonde hair tied in a sleek bun and bright eyes, smiled sadly. "I heard about what's happening, Ethan. I want to help." Ethan felt a mix of emotions. Seeing Emily brought back happy and painful memories at the same time. "How can you help me, Emily? Things are too bad." Emily walked into the kitchen, where she ran her fingers over the utensils that were still there, as if recalling old times. "I know an investor who might be interested in saving Clark's Bistro, but we need to make some changes." As they discussed possible changes, Sarah interrupted. "Sorry, Ethan, but we need to talk about something important." She hesitated before continuing. "I believe someone is trying to sabotage the restaurant." Ethan frowned. "What do you mean?" Sarah pulled an envelope from her bag and handed it to Ethan. "I found this in the mailbox. They're threats, Ethan. Someone doesn't want Clark's Bistro to survive." Ethan felt a chill run down his spine as he read the threatening letters. Who would do this? And why? Emily looked at Sarah and then at Ethan. "We need to find out who's behind this. If we can't solve this, no financial help will be enough." The following days were an emotional roller coaster. Ethan, Emily, and Sarah began investigating discreetly, talking to former employees and customers. They discovered that a local competitor, Marcus Reed, was involved. Marcus had always envied Clark's Bistro's success and, with the help of some accomplices, was trying to force Ethan to close its doors. Determined not to give up, Ethan confronted Marcus at his restaurant. "Why are you doing this, Marcus? What do you gain from Clark's Bistro's downfall?" Marcus, a middle-aged man with a cynical smile, replied, "You don't understand, Ethan. Your restaurant is in the way of my expansion plans. If you get out of the way, I can finally dominate the market." Ethan clenched his fists, feeling the anger rise. "You won't get away with this, Marcus. I'll fight for Clark's Bistro until the end." With Emily and Sarah's support, Ethan began implementing changes to the restaurant's menu and decor. Emily brought new recipes and ideas, while Sarah focused on marketing strategies to attract new customers. At the same time, Ethan took legal action against Marcus, reporting his threats and sabotage. As Clark's Bistro started to recover, Ethan received an anonymous letter. "Do you think you can stop me? This is far from over." Ethan knew the battle was just beginning, but he was determined. With Emily by his side and Sarah as his right hand, he believed they could face any challenge. Together, they would not only save the restaurant but transform it again into a symbol of hope and innovation. The tension was in the air, but there was also a new energy. Ethan and Emily, brought together by circumstances, felt their old emotions rekindle. Sarah, always pragmatic, reminded them of the challenges but also shared the new optimism. Clark's Bistro was on the brink of the end, but with courage, love, and a bit of luck, Ethan believed he could turn things around. The battle was just beginning, and he was ready to face anything to save his family's legacy and find a new beginning alongside Emily. Ethan was leaving the restaurant, his head full of worries. The day had been long, and the problems seemed to be piling up. He looked at the gray sky, feeling the cold autumn wind against his face. As he walked down the sidewalk, something caught his attention in the nearby alley. Moved by curiosity, he approached slowly. "Please, Mom, I'm hungry." A thin, tired voice sounded. Ethan came across a scene that broke his heart. A young woman, with tangled hair and a face marked by worry, was sitting on the ground, hugging a little girl who couldn't be more than 5 years old. Both were visibly exhausted and hungry. Ethan knelt beside them, trying not to scare them. "Hi, my name is Ethan. Are you okay?" The woman looked up, visibly surprised by his presence. "My name is Sophia, and this is my daughter, Mia. We're going through a tough time." Ethan felt a wave of compassion wash over him. He knew he couldn't leave them there. "Do you have a place to stay tonight?" Sophia shook her head, trying to hold back tears. "No. We've been homeless for a few weeks." Ethan stood up, offering his hand to help her up. "Come with me. I have a place where you can stay tonight. And there's food." Mia looked at Ethan with big, curious eyes. "Do you have real food, sir?" Ethan smiled, trying to reassure her. "Yes, I do. Come on. I'll take care of you." When they arrived at the restaurant, Sarah was closing the kitchen. "Ethan, what?" She stopped when she saw Sophia and Mia. "Who are they?" "They're my guests," said Ethan, leading them inside. "Let's prepare something to eat." Sarah asked no questions, just nodded and headed to the kitchen. A few minutes later, the aroma of hot soup and fresh bread began to fill the air. While they ate, Ethan sat with them. "Can you tell me what happened?" Sophia took a deep breath, trying to organize her thoughts. "I lost my job a few months ago. Without money, we were evicted. Since then, we've been wandering the streets, trying to find shelter and food." Ethan felt a lump in his throat. "You have no family to help you?" Sophia shook her head. "My family is in another city and I can't ask for help. They're also going through tough times." Mia, who was devouring the soup with enthusiasm, looked at Ethan with hopeful eyes. "Will we be okay, Mr. Ethan?" He smiled at the little girl. "Yes, Mia. We'll make sure everything will be okay." After dinner, Ethan took Sophia and Mia to a room in the back of the restaurant, where there was a small bed and a sofa. "It's simple, but I hope it's comfortable for you." Sophia was visibly emotional. "Ethan, I don't know how to thank you. You saved our lives today." Ethan shook his head. "No need to thank me. I just want you to be okay. Tomorrow, we'll see what we can do to help you get back on your feet." That night, while Sophia and Mia slept deeply for the first time in weeks, Ethan sat alone in the empty hall of the restaurant. He thought about how full of problems his own life was, but realized that there were people with much worse situations. Determined to make a difference, Ethan began planning ways to help Sophia and Mia rebuild their lives. The next morning, Ethan was awakened by the sound of laughter. As he left his small office, he found Mia playing in the hall, her laughter echoing through the restaurant. Sophia was in the kitchen with Sarah, helping to prepare breakfast. "Good morning," Ethan greeted, joining them. "Good morning, Ethan," replied Sophia, smiling. Sarah asked for help with breakfast. "I hope you don't mind." Ethan smiled. "Of course not. I'm glad you're feeling comfortable." During breakfast, Ethan made a proposal. "Sophia, do you have any experience working in restaurants?" Sophia nodded. "Yes, I worked as a waitress and cook for a few years before losing my job." Ethan looked at Sarah, who smiled back. "We need help here. If you want, you can start working with us." Sophia was surprised and emotional. "Are you serious? I would love to work here." Ethan nodded. "I'm serious. We'll help you and Mia get back on your feet. And Mia can stay here with us until we find a school for her." Mia, who was drawing on a napkin, looked at Ethan with a radiant smile. "I'll be able to go to school?" Ethan smiled at the little girl. "Yes, Mia. We'll make sure you have everything you need." The following days were full of adaptation and hope. Sophia proved to be an excellent employee, and Mia brought new energy to the restaurant. Sarah, who was initially skeptical, was now completely involved in helping the new family. But as in every good story, not everything would be so easy. One night, while Ethan was closing the restaurant, he received a call from an unknown number. "Ethan Clark? I'm watching you. Do you think you can save your restaurant and still help these homeless people? You're getting involved in something dangerous." Ethan felt a chill. "Who are you? What do you want from me?" The voice on the other end laughed. "You'll find out soon." The tension in the air was increasing, but Ethan was determined not to be shaken. He knew that his fight was just beginning. With Sophia, Mia, and Sarah's help, he was ready to face any challenge that came their way. And so, with Clark's Bistro's fate still uncertain and a new mystery lurking, Ethan knew that each day would be a new battle, but also a new chance to start over. The clock struck 6 in the morning when Sophia woke up, still somewhat disoriented by the new routine. Mia was sleeping soundly beside her, wrapped in warm blankets. Sophia got up quietly, trying not to wake her daughter, and went to the restaurant kitchen. The aroma of fresh coffee greeted her, along with Sarah's warm smile. "Good morning, Sophia," Sarah said, offering her a cup of coffee. "Ready for the first day?" Sophia accepted the cup gratefully. "Good morning, Sarah. I'm nervous but excited." Sarah smiled, placing a comforting hand on Sophia's shoulder. "We're all here to help. It's going to be fine." As the first rays of sun streamed through the window, Ethan arrived with a determined look. "Let's get started. We have a busy day ahead." The first challenge came right after opening. A large group of tourists entered, filling almost all the tables. Sophia, with her previous experience, moved with agility and confidence, serving customers and ensuring everyone was satisfied. Sarah watched from a distance, impressed by Sophia's efficiency. In the midst of the hustle and bustle, Mia appeared in the kitchen, rubbing her sleepy eyes. "Mom, I'm hungry." Sophia looked at Ethan, who smiled. "We'll take care of that," he said. He picked Mia up and took her to an empty table. "What would you like to eat, Mia?" Mia looked around, her eyes shining with curiosity. "Pancakes, Mr. Ethan?" Ethan laughed. "Pancakes it is. I'll ask Sarah to make the best pancakes you've ever had." While Mia ate, the restaurant staff began to warm up to her. First, it was Jack, the grumpy chef known for his short temper. He approached Mia with a plate of fresh fruit. "Here you go, little one, to go with your pancakes." Mia smiled gratefully. "Thank you, Mr. Jack." Jack gave a rare half-smile. "You can call me Jack, just Jack." The morning passed quickly, with Sophia adapting to the restaurant's rhythm and Mia exploring her new environment. During the lunch break, Sophia and Sarah had a moment to talk. "Sophia, you're doing great," said Sarah, placing a hand on her new colleague's shoulder. "But I know it can't be easy." Sophia sighed. "It's not, Sarah. I'm worried about Mia. She's adjusting, but I still feel like something is missing. Maybe a school." Sarah nodded. "We'll find a solution for that. Ethan is already looking for a nearby school. She'll be fine." That afternoon, a funny situation broke the tension. Mia decided to help in the kitchen and, without anyone noticing, started trying to make her own cookie recipe. Jack, seeing the flour and ingredients spread everywhere, initially frowned. But seeing Mia's determined smile, he couldn't help but laugh. "Mia, what are you doing?" he asked, trying to sound serious. "I'm making cookies, Jack," she replied enthusiastically. Jack laughed and decided to help her. "Let's do this together then. I'll teach you the secrets of the best cookies." The touching scene between Jack and Mia made the other staff members start to lower their guard. Gradually, everyone began to get more involved with Sophia and Mia, creating a new family dynamic in the restaurant. One night, after closing time, Ethan gathered the team. "I want to thank all of you for welcoming Sophia and Mia so warmly. We're going through tough times, but together, we can overcome anything." Sophia moved, stood up. "I thank all of you. You've given us a second chance, and for that, we'll be eternally grateful." The team applauded, and for the first time in a long time, Ethan felt hope. Sophia and Mia's presence brought new energy to the restaurant, strengthening the bonds between everyone. They weren't just co-workers. They were becoming a family. The following days brought more challenges but also moments of joy. Mia made new friends among the staff and frequent customers. Sophia continued to impress with her work ethic and culinary skills. And Ethan, despite facing financial problems and threats, felt stronger with the support of his new family. And so, with each challenge faced and each small victory celebrated, Clark's Bistro began to transform. The restaurant was not just a place to eat. It was a refuge of hope and renewal for all who passed through its doors. The morning was cold, but inside Clark's Bistro, the atmosphere was beginning to warm with the sound of laughter and the aroma of fresh coffee. Ethan was in the kitchen, watching Sophia handle the ingredients like a maestro, while Sarah made notes in a notebook. "Are you sure this combination will work?" asked Sarah, raising a skeptical eyebrow. Sophia smiled, stirring the spoon in the pot. "Trust me, Sarah. The spice blend will surprise everyone." Mia, sitting in a corner with her drawing book, looked up. "My mom is the best cook in the world. You'll see." Ethan smiled at Mia's excitement. "I'm sure of it, little one." He turned to the team, who were gathered for the first test of Sophia's new dish. "We're going to try something new today, folks. Sophia has some ideas that could transform our menu." Jack, the grumpy chef, grumbled something about new stuff, but was clearly curious. He approached and took a spoon, tasting the sauce Sophia had prepared. His eyes widened in surprise. This is amazing. How did you get this combination?" Sophia laughed. "Experience and a bit of intuition, Jack. I think we can do something really special here." That morning flew by, with the team experimenting with new recipes under Sophia's guidance. Ethan watched everything with a mix of admiration and renewed hope. He could see that something was changing, not just in the menu, but in the restaurant's atmosphere. At the end of the morning, Sophia called everyone to gather around a large table in the kitchen. "I want to introduce you to our new main dish, spiced marinated chicken with mango and cilantro sauce, served with jasmine rice and grilled vegetables." The dishes were distributed, and as everyone tasted, the silence turned into murmurs of approval. Sarah, who was usually critical of new ideas, smiled broadly. "This is phenomenal, Sophia. Truly innovative." Ethan, still savoring the dish, looked at Sophia. "This is going to bring our customers back. I can feel it." That afternoon, Ethan decided it was time for a broader change. He called the entire team for a meeting in the restaurant's main hall. "Folks, we have a unique opportunity here. The energy that Sophia and Mia have brought is inspiring us to create something new and exciting. I want all of you to be a part of this. Let's reinvent Clark's Bistro." The team, initially skeptical about the changes, began to share their own ideas. Jack suggested a tasting menu with dishes that varied each week. Sarah proposed a monthly event where customers could learn to cook with the restaurant team. Even the waitstaff started suggesting ways to improve the customer experience. The following days were full of activity. The restaurant was in constant transformation, with everyone working together to implement the new ideas. Sophia became the star of the kitchen, leading the team with her enthusiasm and skill. Mia, always present, brought a lightness to the environment, often drawing new dish ideas or helping decorate the hall. Ethan was in the office, reviewing finances, when he heard the sound of excited voices in the hall. He went out and saw a group of old customers who hadn't visited the restaurant in months. "Ethan, what have you done here? The place is amazing." Ethan smiled proudly. "We're trying something new. I hope you like it." The customers not only liked it, they were delighted. The new menu, the vibrant atmosphere, and the positive energy emanating from every corner of the restaurant were doing wonders. Customers started coming back, and new faces began to appear. One night, while the restaurant was full, an older man with gray hair and an analytical look approached Ethan. "You've transformed this place, young man. I used to come here with my wife years ago. I'm happy to see Clark's Bistro back to life." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. "Thank you. We're just getting started." That same night, after closing, Ethan met with Sophia and Sarah in the office. "I couldn't have done this without you. The energy you brought changed everything." Sophia smiled, holding Mia's hand. We're happy to be part of this, Ethan. And we're just getting started. Sarah agreed. We still have a lot of work ahead, but with this team, I know we can achieve anything. With Clark's Bistro vibrant again, Ethan felt a new wave of determination. He knew challenges were still to come, but with Sophia, Mia, Sarah, and the entire team by his side, he felt they could face anything. The restaurant was not just a place to eat. It was a place where dreams were being rebuilt, where a new family was forming. And as the restaurant's lights dimmed that night, Ethan knew the real work was just beginning. The journey to transform Clark's Bistro into a culinary icon was just starting, and he was more than ready to face whatever lay ahead. Ethan and Sophia were in the restaurant's kitchen, finishing tidying up after another busy day. The night was calm, and the soft sound of ambient music filled the empty space. Ethan watched Sophia as she stored the ingredients, admiring the way she moved with grace and confidence. "Sophia," he called softly, breaking the silence. "Can I ask you a personal question?" Sophia paused for a moment, turning to him with a soft smile. "Sure, Ethan. What do you want to know?" Ethan hesitated, carefully choosing his words. "I know you've mentioned going through tough times before coming here, but I'd like to know more about you, if you're comfortable sharing." Sophia sighed, her eyes becoming distant as painful memories surfaced. "All right, I think it's time to open up a bit more." She sat on one of the kitchen stools, gesturing for Ethan to do the same. "I was married, Ethan. My ex-husband. He was a complicated man. At first, he seemed perfect, but gradually, he revealed himself to be violent and controlling." Ethan felt a pang in his heart hearing this. "I'm so sorry, Sophia. It must have been horrible." Sophia nodded. "It was. I tried to leave several times, but he always found me. When I got pregnant with Mia, I knew I had to escape for good. I finally gathered the courage and, with the help of a women's shelter, fled with my daughter." Ethan remained silent for a moment, absorbing her story. "You're incredibly brave, Sophia. I can't imagine how hard it was." Sophia smiled, though her eyes were teary. "It was the hardest thing I've ever done. But Mia is worth every effort. She is my reason for living." Ethan looked at her with renewed admiration. "You're an amazing mother, Sophia, and I'm glad you found your way here." There was a moment of comfortable silence before Sophia broke the tension. "And you, Ethan? Is there something you haven't told me?" Ethan looked at the floor, a lump forming in his throat. "My past isn't as traumatic as yours, but it wasn't easy either." Sophia gently touched his hand. "Tell me, please." Ethan took a deep breath, trying to find the courage to speak. "My parents founded Clark's Bistro. They were passionate about this place, and I practically grew up here. But they died in a car accident when I was 20. Suddenly, the entire weight of the restaurant fell on me." Sophia squeezed his hand, encouraging him to continue. "It must have been an enormous burden." Ethan nodded, feeling emotions bubble up. "It was. I was trying to balance college, my personal life, and the restaurant. I ended up dropping out of college to take care of the restaurant. But the pressure and responsibility consumed me. I lost friends, distanced myself from many people, and went through a period of depression." Sophia looked at him with compassion. "And how did you manage to overcome all that?" Ethan smiled wistfully. "It was hard, but I found support in people like Sarah and Jack. They became my family. And now, with you and Mia here, I feel like we're finally starting to see light at the end of the tunnel." Sophia leaned closer, her eyes meeting his. "Ethan, you're not alone. We're all in this together." Ethan felt a comforting warmth spread through his chest. "Thank you, Sophia. It means a lot to me to hear that." The two remained in silence, absorbing the depth of their confessions. The kitchen of Clark's Bistro, which had witnessed so many stories over the years, now became the stage for an even deeper connection between Ethan and Sophia. They knew that together, they could face any challenge the future held. As the night progressed, Ethan stood up, pulling Sophia into a comforting embrace. "We'll face this together," he whispered. Sophia nodded, hugging him back. "Always, Ethan. Always." With secrets revealed and hearts lighter, Ethan and Sophia felt ready to face the future with renewed determination. Clark's Bistro was not just a restaurant. It was a place where new lives began, where past pains were healed, and where a new family flourished. The sound of Julia's laptop keys echoed through the office, mixed with the aroma of fresh coffee spreading through the room. Julia, an elegant woman with brown hair tied in a firm bun and penetrating green eyes, was focused on Clark's Bistro's finances. Ethan, sitting next to her, watched with a mixture of anxiety and gratitude. "You have a special talent for this, Julia," commented Ethan, trying to ease the tension. "I don't know what I would do without you." Julia smiled without taking her eyes off the screen. "You would do exactly what you're doing now, fighting to keep this place standing. I'm just here to make sure nothing is missed along the way." As they worked, Sophia entered the office timidly, carrying Mia in her arms. "Sorry to interrupt, but Mia wanted to show you something." Mia, with her bright eyes and a shy smile, showed a colorful drawing she had made of the restaurant. "It's for you, for Clark's Bistro." Julia took the drawing and smiled, delighted. "It's beautiful, Mia. We'll hang it on the wall in the hall. What do you think, Ethan?" Ethan nodded, feeling warmth in his heart. "I think it's a great idea. Thank you, Mia." After Sophia and Mia left, Julia turned her attention to Ethan. "They are a blessing to this place, Ethan. They brought new life to the restaurant." Ethan agreed. "I know, and I don't know how to thank you for everything you're doing for us, Julia." Julia closed the laptop and looked at him, her eyes serious. "You don't need to thank me. We've been friends for a long time. You've always been there for me. Now it's my turn to give back." Ethan knew Julia was facing her own challenges. Recently, she had gone through a complicated divorce, and balancing her responsibilities at the restaurant with her personal issues wasn't easy. "How are things with you, Julia? You know you can count on me for anything." Julia sighed, her eyes showing a flash of sadness.
"I'm adjusting, Ethan.
The divorce was tough, but I'm trying to move on. Working here helps me keep my head straight." Ethan touched her hand, offering comfort. "We're all here for you, Julia. We'll get through this together." That afternoon, Julia decided to organize a meeting with the entire Clark's Bistro team to discuss finances and future strategies. Everyone gathered in the main hall, their voices full of anticipation. "I know we're all going through tough times," Julia began, looking at each one firmly. "But I believe that with some changes and a bit of sacrifice, we can turn this around. First, we need to cut some unnecessary costs without compromising quality. Second, we'll implement a new online reservation system to attract more customers." Jack, the chef, raised his hand. "What about the new recipes Sophia is creating? They have attracted many new customers." Julia smiled at Sophia. "Yes, the new recipes have been a great success. We'll highlight these dishes on our website and social media. Sarah, can you take care of that?" Sarah nodded. "Absolutely. Let's make it happen." After the meeting, Julia approached Sophia, who was talking to Mia. "Sophia, I wanted to thank you for all your effort. You have been amazing." Sophia blushed slightly. "Thank you, Julia. I'm happy to help. This place already means a lot to me and Mia." Julia placed her hand on Sophia's shoulder. "And we are happy to have you here. If you need anything at all, don't hesitate to ask." Later, when the restaurant was closing, Julia and Ethan were back in the office, reviewing numbers. "I think we're on the right track," said Julia, closing the notebook. "But we need to remain vigilant." Ethan smiled, feeling a wave of gratitude. "With you by my side, I feel like we can face anything." Julia laughed softly. "I'm no hero, Ethan, but I'll do everything I can to help." That night, as Ethan locked up the restaurant, he reflected on the importance of friendship and unconditional support. Julia wasn't just a partner. She was a loyal friend, always ready to face challenges by his side. With the strength of friendship and renewed determination, Ethan knew that together, they could transform Clark's Bistro into an even more special place. And with Sophia, Mia, Sarah, Jack, and the entire team by his side, he was ready for any twist that fate might bring. It was a quiet morning at Clark's Bistro. The sunlight streamed through the kitchen window, casting a soft glow on the stainless steel surfaces. Ethan was alone in the kitchen, reflecting on everything that had happened in recent months. The presence of Sophia and Mia, the tireless help from Julia, and the renewed energy everyone had brought to the restaurant had transformed his world. However, there was something else he needed to discover. While making a coffee, Ethan noticed an old photo of his parents hanging on the wall. They were smiling, arms around each other, on the day the restaurant opened. He remembered how they spoke passionately about cooking and hospitality, and how each dish served was an extension of their love and dedication. Clark's Bistro is not just a restaurant, Ethan, his mother used to say. It's a place where people feel at home, where every meal is made with love. Sophia entered the kitchen, taking off her apron with a gentle smile. "Good morning, Ethan. You look thoughtful." Ethan looked at her and smiled. "I was just thinking about my parents and how much they loved this place. I feel like I've lost some of that passion over the years." Sophia nodded, understanding. It's easy to lose sight of what's important when we're struggling to survive. But the passion is within you, Ethan. You just need to rediscover it. Determined to find his passion for cooking again, Ethan began to spend more time in the kitchen, experimenting with new recipes and revisiting old ones. He engaged with the ingredients, feeling the textures, smelling the aromas, and marveling at the combinations of flavors. The process of cooking became a meditation, a return to his roots and the essence of what made Clark's Bistro special. One day, while preparing a new dish, Sarah entered the kitchen. "Ethan, what are you doing? The smell is amazing." Ethan smiled, his eyes shining with enthusiasm. "I'm working on a recipe my mother used to make. It's roasted chicken with spices and fresh herbs, served with seasonal vegetables. I want to bring back these dishes that have history." Sarah tasted a sample, her eyes lighting up. "This is delicious, Ethan. Let's put it on this weekend's special menu." The news spread quickly through the restaurant. Customers, old and new, were eager to try the new dishes. Ethan dedicated himself to each meal with renewed love, remembering that each dish was a tribute to his parents and a celebration of what Clark's Bistro represented. One night, after a particularly busy day, Ethan was cleaning the kitchen when Julia entered, holding a glass of wine. "I brought a drink for the best chef in town," she said, smiling. Ethan laughed, accepting the glass. "Thank you, Julia. I've been feeling a new energy lately. I think I'm finally rediscovering my passion for cooking." Julia toasted with him. "That's great, Ethan. And not just you, but the whole team has felt this change. The restaurant is more vibrant than ever." As they toasted, Sophia and Mia entered the kitchen. Mia ran up to Ethan, holding a drawing. "Look, Mr. Ethan, I drew you cooking." Ethan looked at the drawing, feeling warmth in his heart. "It's perfect, Mia. I'll hang it in the kitchen." Sophia approached, her eyes full of pride. "You're doing an amazing job, Ethan. We're all so happy to be part of this." As the weeks passed, Ethan continued to explore new recipes and hone his culinary skills. He organized workshops for the team, teaching them special techniques and sharing his stories. Everyone's enthusiasm was palpable, and Clark's Bistro became a place of innovation and creativity. One afternoon, while preparing a special dish for an event, Ethan realized that something had changed. It wasn't just the food, but the spirit of the restaurant. He had rediscovered his purpose, not just as a chef, but as the guardian of his family's legacy. And then, on a starry night, while looking at the tables filled with happy customers, Ethan felt an inner peace he hadn't felt in a long time. He knew that, regardless of the challenges still to come, Clark's Bistro was on the right track. With Sophia, Mia, Julia, and the entire team by his side, he was ready to take the restaurant to new heights. And so, with each dish served, Ethan celebrated the love, friendship, and passion that made Clark's Bistro a truly special place. The tension was palpable at Clark's Bistro that morning. Ethan was in the office, his eyes fixed on a pile of overdue bills. The restaurant's financial situation was still delicate, despite recent improvements. Julia had gone out to negotiate with some suppliers, but the weight of the debts continued to haunt Ethan. Sophia entered the office, carrying 2 cups of coffee. "I brought coffee. You look like you need a break." Ethan looked at her, his eyes tired. "Thanks, Sophia. I don't know what I would do without you." Sophia sat beside him, touching his hand gently. "We're all in this together, Ethan. We'll find a solution." Ethan sighed, holding her hand. "It's hard to keep hope when the numbers just don't add up. We need more customers, more revenue, more of everything." As they drank their coffee, Sophia began to speak about her own struggle. "When I fled with Mia, we had days when we didn't know if we'd have a place to sleep or what to eat. It was a scary and desperate time, but I found strength in my daughter. I know it's not easy, but I believe that if we face these challenges together, we can overcome them." Ethan smiled, feeling a wave of gratitude. "You are one of the strongest people I know, Sophia. We'll face this together, one day at a time." Later that day, Sophia and Ethan met with the team to discuss ways to increase the restaurant's revenue. Jack, the chef, suggested a special culinary event to attract new customers. Sarah proposed partnering with local influencers to promote Clark's Bistro on social media. "We need to be creative," said Julia, who had just returned from the meeting with the suppliers. "I negotiated an extension on some of the debts, but that only gives us a bit more time. We need to increase our profits quickly." Sophia had an idea. "What if we offer cooking classes? We can use Ethan and Jack's expertise to teach special recipes. This could attract a new audience and generate extra income." Ethan agreed. "That could work. We can do a series of themed workshops. We'll need all of you to help organize this." The team was excited about the idea and quickly began planning the details of the workshops. The enthusiasm was palpable, but the pressure for it to work was enormous. The first workshops were a success, attracting cooking enthusiasts from all over the city. Ethan and Jack taught advanced techniques, while Sarah and Julia took care of logistics and marketing. Sophia helped create a welcoming environment, ensuring all participants felt at home. Despite the initial success, challenges continued to arise. One night, after a long day of workshops and dinner service, Sophia found Ethan in the office, staring at a spreadsheet. "Is everything okay?" she asked, worried. Ethan shook his head. "Even with the workshops, we're still struggling to cover all expenses. And I'm worried about the financial health of the team too. I can't let anyone suffer because of this." Sophia sat beside him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "We're doing our best. You're leading this amazingly, Ethan, but you can't carry all the weight alone." Ethan sighed, feeling the pressure on his shoulders. "I know, but I feel it's my responsibility. This restaurant is my parents' legacy." Sophia looked at him tenderly. "And you're honoring that legacy every day. But you need to remember you're not alone. We're all here to help. We'll overcome this together." At that moment, Mia entered the office holding a storybook. "Mom, can you read to me?" Sophia smiled at Ethan. "Let's take a break." Reading to Mia might be exactly what we need to relieve some of this tension. While Sophia read to Mia, Ethan watched, feeling warmth in his heart. Seeing Sophia and Mia together, laughing and sharing a moment of affection, brought him a sense of peace. He knew that, regardless of the financial challenges, he had something more valuable: a united and dedicated family. The following days were filled with ups and downs. Ethan and Sophia faced each obstacle together, from insistent suppliers to unexpected plumbing issues at the restaurant. But each challenge overcome only strengthened their bond. One particularly difficult night, with the restaurant almost empty, Ethan and Sophia sat at the bar, sharing a glass of wine. "Sometimes it feels like we're swimming against the current," said Ethan, looking at the empty hall. Sophia nodded, but her eyes were full of determination. "But we're swimming together, and that makes all the difference." Ethan smiled, feeling a renewed wave of hope. "Yes, it does. Thank you for being by my side, Sophia." She took his hand, squeezing it gently. "Always, Ethan. Always." With the financial and emotional challenges still present, Ethan and Sophia knew their journey was far from over. But with mutual support and the strength of their friendship and love, they were ready to face anything that came their way. Clark's Bistro was not just a restaurant. It was a symbol of resilience, passion, and above all, unity. The kitchen of Clark's Bistro was bustling with activity, the sounds of pots and pans clanging as the team prepared for dinner service. Ethan, with his pristine apron and determined smile, was at the center of it all, orchestrating each movement with precision. That morning, he had called a special meeting to announce a new initiative. I've been thinking a lot about how we can further highlight our identity and what makes us unique. Ethan began as the team gathered around him. Each of us has a story, an experience that shaped who we are. I want our new menu to reflect that. Sophia, with Mia by her side, looked at Ethan curiously. What do you have in mind, Ethan? Ethan smiled, excited. I want to create a menu that celebrates the cultures and experiences of everyone here. Each dish will tell a story, representing the diversity and inclusion that make Clark's Bistro such a special place. Jack, the chef, crossed his arms, intrigued. You're saying each of us will contribute a dish that represents our origins? Ethan nodded. Exactly. I want everyone to think of a dish that has a special meaning for you, something that represents your roots, your stories. We'll share these stories with our customers through the food. Sarah, ever pragmatic, looked at Ethan with a smile. This could really attract attention. People love authentic stories, especially when they come with delicious food. Julia joined the conversation with a thoughtful expression. We could even create a launch event, invite the local media and food critics. It would be a great way to promote the new menu. Ethan was excited about the idea. Perfect, Julia. Let's start planning it. But first, I want to hear everyone's ideas. One by one, the team members began sharing their stories and ideas for dishes. Jack talked about a traditional family recipe, a beef stew his grandfather used to make during harsh winters. Sarah suggested a dessert inspired by the pies her grandmother made during holidays. Sophia, holding Mia's hand, smiled shyly. I would like to contribute a dish I learned from my grandmother. It's a coconut chicken curry she used to make on special occasions. It always reminds me of the safety and love I felt at her house. Ethan looked at Sophia with tenderness. That sounds perfect, Sophia. And Mia, do you have any ideas? Mia, her eyes shining with enthusiasm, raised her hand. I can help make cookies. My mom and I used to make them together. The team laughed softly, charmed by Mia's enthusiasm. Ethan nodded. Mia's cookies it is. They will be a hit. In the following weeks, Clark's Bistro's kitchen turned into a laboratory of flavors and stories. Everyone was busy experimenting with recipes, adjusting spices, and sharing memories. The energy was palpable, and Ethan felt something truly special was forming. On the day of the launch, the restaurant was filled with guests, including journalists and food critics. The hall was decorated with photos and small texts telling the stories behind each dish. There was a sense of anticipation in the air. Ethan stepped onto the improvised stage in the center of the hall, holding a microphone. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Today, we're launching a very special menu, something that represents the soul of Clark's Bistro. Each dish you'll taste tonight tells a story, a part of the lives of the incredible people who work here. The applause was warm, and Ethan felt a wave of gratitude. The restaurant was becoming more than a place to eat. It was becoming the heart of the community. In the following months, Clark's Bistro continued to innovate, holding events that involved residents and celebrated cultural diversity. There was a Mexican night with authentic tacos and live mariachi music, a Japanese night with freshly made sushi and a tea ceremony demonstration, and even an African night with exotic dishes and traditional dances. Each event was a success, attracting not only neighborhood residents but also people from other parts of the city who heard about Clark's Bistro's special nights. Ethan and his team started organizing cooking classes, where customers could learn to make the themed dishes directly from the chefs. These classes quickly became a highlight, with always full waiting lists. One afternoon, while arranging the hall for a charity dinner, Sophia found Ethan lost in thought. "What are you thinking about, Ethan?" Ethan smiled at her. "I was just reflecting on how much we've achieved together." The restaurant has become something much bigger than I ever imagined. Sophia touched his arm gently. You had the vision and the courage to make it happen. We're all here because we believe in your dream. That night's charity dinner was an emotional event. Neighborhood residents and important city figures gathered to support a noble cause, with all proceeds going towards building a community center. Ethan gave an emotional speech, thanking everyone for their continued support and highlighting the importance of strengthening community ties. Clark's Bistro is more than a restaurant. It's a place where everyone is welcome, where every culture is celebrated, and every person is valued. Together, we can make a difference, Ethan said, receiving a standing ovation. That night, while cleaning the hall after the event, Julia commented to Ethan and Sophia, "Do you realize what you've created here? This place is a symbol of unity and belonging. People feel part of something bigger when they're here." Ethan smiled, feeling the positive weight of Julia's words. "That was only possible thanks to all of you. We're a family, and each of us has contributed to making Clark's Bistro the heart of this neighborhood." As Sophia and Ethan walked home with Mia, the restaurant's lights still shining in the distance, they felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Clark's Bistro had transformed into a place where not only food was celebrated, but where people connected and built memories together. The connection between Ethan, Sophia, and Mia continued to strengthen, and the vision of a bright future for the restaurant and the community was clearer than ever. They knew that, no matter what the future held, together, they could face any challenge and continue to build something truly special at the heart of the neighborhood. It was a quiet night at Clark's Bistro. The restaurant was closed, and the soft lights created an intimate and cozy atmosphere in the kitchen. Ethan was washing the last dishes while Sophia put away the utensils. Mia was already asleep in the small back room, exhausted after a day full of play and laughter. "You seem thoughtful tonight," observed Ethan, noticing Sophia's serious expression. "Is something bothering you?" Sophia sighed, her eyes fixed on a distant point. "There's something I need to tell you, Ethan. Something I've kept to myself for a long time." Ethan dried his hands and approached, sitting next to her. "You can tell me anything, Sophia. I'm here for you." Sophia took a deep breath, feeling the weight of painful memories emerging. "I already told you a little about my ex-husband, but I never told the whole truth. He wasn't just abusive. He was part of a criminal group. When I realized the danger we were in, I decided to flee to protect Mia." Ethan remained silent, absorbing Sophia's words. "My God, Sophia, that's terrible. You and Mia must have gone through incredibly hard times." She nodded, tears in her eyes. "It was hell, Ethan. I was so scared he would find us. We moved from city to city constantly, and I was always looking over my shoulder. We never had a moment of peace until we got here." Ethan held her hand, feeling the intensity of her pain. "You did what you had to do to protect your daughter. That shows how strong and brave you are." Sophia wiped away her tears, finding strength in Ethan's words. "But the fear never completely went away. I'm afraid he'll find us again, and I'm scared of what he might do." Ethan looked at her with determination. "I won't let anything happen to you. We're in this together, Sophia. We'll face it together." In the following days, Ethan took steps to protect Sophia and Mia. He installed security cameras around the restaurant and hired a security guard to keep an eye on things. He also contacted a lawyer to understand how they could legally protect Sophia from her ex-husband. One night, after a quiet dinner, Ethan received a call. It was the security guard, informing him that a suspicious man was lurking around the restaurant. Ethan's heart raced. "I'm on my way." When he arrived at the restaurant, he found the security guard talking to an unknown man. "What's going on here?" Ethan asked, trying to stay calm. The man looked at Ethan with a cynical smile. "I'm just looking for someone. I'm sure she's here." Ethan felt a chill. "You're in the wrong place. Leave now." The man took a step forward, but before he could do anything, the security guard intervened, pushing him back. "I think it's best if you leave before things get ugly." The man hesitated for a moment, then turned and left, muttering something unintelligible. The atmosphere in the restaurant was tense, but the customers, realizing the seriousness of the situation, began to murmur among themselves, supporting Ethan and his team. Sophia approached Ethan, holding his hand tightly. "We'll be okay, Ethan. We're not alone." The next morning, Ethan and Sophia went to the police station, where they met Ethan's police friend. "We'll conduct a full investigation," he said. "But until we find out who's behind this, I want you to take extra precautions." With the threat still present, Ethan and the team doubled their efforts on safety. But life at Clark's Bistro continued, with the community coming together to support the restaurant. The presence of loyal customers and new visitors brought a sense of security and solidarity. One afternoon, while Ethan was in the kitchen, Julia came running. "Ethan, you need to see this." They went to the main hall, where a crowd of customers had gathered, holding signs of support for Clark's Bistro. "We're with you," some signs said. "No to fear," said another. Ethan felt tears well up in his eyes. "Thank you all. This means so much to us." A woman from the crowd approached, holding Ethan's hand. "Clark's Bistro is not just a restaurant. It's a symbol of our community. We won't let anyone destroy it." With the unwavering support of the community, Ethan felt a renewed wave of determination. "We'll keep going. We won't let fear stop us." In the following days, the police investigation advanced, and they finally discovered that the man threatening the restaurant was part of a group trying to extort local businesses. He was arrested, and the threat to Clark's Bistro finally disappeared. With peace restored, Ethan, Sophia, and the team could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Clark's Bistro continued to thrive, stronger and more united than ever. One night, while Ethan and Sophia were in the restaurant's garden, watching Mia play, Ethan held Sophia's hand. "We've been through so much together, but we've managed to overcome it all." Sophia smiled, squeezing his hand. "Because we're together, and as long as we're united, we can face anything." And so, with hearts full of gratitude and hope, Ethan knew that Clark's Bistro was destined to be a place of love, unity, and resilience. Together, they were ready for any challenge the future might bring, knowing that the strength of their community and the love they shared would always keep them strong. As the sun began to set, casting the sky in shades of orange, the lights of Clark's Bistro came on, illuminating the neighborhood with a warm glow. The restaurant's new facade, adorned with colorful murals depicting the cultural diversity of the area, drew curious and admiring glances. Ethan, with a satisfied smile, watched as the crowd gathered in front of the restaurant. Tonight marked the first of many themed evenings he and his team had planned. "Ready for Italian night?" Ethan asked as he entered the kitchen, where the team was bustling, preparing the special dishes. Jack, the chef, looked up from the stove and smiled. "We're ready. Sophia's dishes are simply amazing." Sophia, wearing a flower crown and an apron decorated with the colors of Italy, laughed. "I hope everyone likes them. We put a lot of love into these recipes." Mia, always enthusiastic, darted around the dining room, putting the final touches on tables adorned with checkered tablecloths and lit candles. "Mommy, Mr. Ethan, the tables are ready." Ethan knelt to Mia's level and gave her a hug. "You did a great job, Mia. Now, let's make tonight unforgettable." As the first customers began to arrive, Sarah and Julia welcomed everyone with warm smiles. "Welcome to Italian night at Clark's Bistro. We hope you enjoy the evening and the delicious treats we've prepared for you," Sarah said, handing out themed menus. Italian music filled the air, and soon the restaurant was alive with laughter, animated conversations, and the sounds of clinking cutlery and glasses. Each dish came with a story told by Sophia, who moved from table to table, sharing the origins of the recipes and creating a special connection with the guests. In the middle of the evening, Ethan took to the small stage set up in the corner of the room. "Good evening, everyone. It's a joy to see Clark's Bistro so full of life and happiness. This is just the first of many themed nights we've planned to celebrate the cultural diversity of our neighborhood. Thank you for being here and being part of our family." The applause was warm, and Ethan felt a wave of gratitude. The restaurant was becoming more than just a place to eat. It was becoming the heart of the community. In the following months, Clark's Bistro continued to innovate, hosting events that engaged locals and celebrated cultural diversity. There was Mexican night with authentic tacos and live mariachi, Japanese night with fresh sushi and a tea ceremony demonstration, and even African night with exotic dishes and traditional dances. Each event was a success, attracting not only neighborhood residents but also people from other parts of the city who had heard about Clark's Bistro's special nights. Ethan and his team began offering cooking classes where customers could learn to make the themed dishes directly from the chefs. These classes quickly became a highlight, with waiting lists always full. One afternoon, while setting up the dining room for a charity dinner, Sophia found Ethan lost in thought. "What are you thinking about, Ethan?" Ethan smiled at her. "I was just reflecting on how much we've achieved together. The restaurant has become something much bigger than I ever imagined." Sophia gently touched his arm. "You had the vision and the courage to make it happen. We're all here because we believe in your dream." That night's charity dinner was an emotional event. Neighborhood residents and prominent city figures gathered to support a noble cause, with all profits being donated to the construction of a community center. Ethan gave a heartfelt speech, thanking everyone for their continued support and emphasizing the importance of strengthening community ties. Clark's Bistro is more than just a restaurant. It's a place where everyone is welcome, where every culture is celebrated, and where every person is valued. "Together, we can make a difference," Ethan said, receiving a standing ovation. As they cleaned up the dining room after the event, Julia commented to Ethan and Sophia, "Have you realized what you've created here? This place is a symbol of unity and belonging. People feel like they're part of something bigger when they're here." Ethan smiled, feeling the positive weight of Julia's words. "It's all thanks to all of you. We're a family, and each of us has contributed to making Clark's Bistro the heart of this neighborhood." As Sophia and Ethan walked home with Mia, the restaurant's lights still shining in the distance, they felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Clark's Bistro had become a place where not just the food was celebrated, but where people connected and made memories together. The bond between Ethan, Sophia, and Mia continued to grow stronger, and the vision of a bright future for the restaurant and the community was clearer than ever. They knew that no matter what the future held, together they could face any challenge and continue to build something truly special in the heart of the neighborhood. It was a quiet night at Clark's Bistro. The restaurant was closed, and the soft lights created an intimate and cozy atmosphere in the kitchen. Ethan was washing the last of the dishes while Sophia was putting away the utensils. Mia was already asleep in the small back room, exhausted after a day full of play and laughter. "You seem pensive tonight," Ethan observed, noticing Sophia's serious expression. "Is something bothering you?" Sophia sighed, her eyes fixed on a distant point. "There's something I need to tell you, Ethan. Something I've been keeping for a long time." Ethan dried his hands and moved closer, sitting next to her. "You can tell me anything, Sophia. I'm here for you." Sophia took a deep breath, feeling the weight of painful memories surfacing. "I've told you a bit about my ex-husband, but I've never told you the whole truth. He wasn't just abusive. He was part of a criminal gang. When I realized the danger we were in, I decided to run to protect Mia." Ethan fell silent, absorbing Sophia's words. "My God, Sophia, that's terrible. You and Mia must have been through some very difficult times." She nodded, tears in her eyes. "It was hell, Ethan. I was so afraid he would find us. We moved from city to city constantly, always looking over my shoulder. We never had a moment of peace until we got here." Ethan held Sophia's hand, feeling the intensity of her pain. "You did what you had to do to protect your daughter. That shows how strong and courageous you are." Sophia wiped her tears, finding strength in Ethan's words. "But the fear never completely went away. I'm scared he'll find us again, and I'm scared of what he might do." Ethan looked at her with determination. "I'm not going to let anything happen to you. We're in this together, Sophia. We'll face it together." In the following days, Ethan began taking measures to protect Sophia and Mia. He installed security cameras around the restaurant and hired a security guard to keep watch. He also contacted a lawyer to understand how they could legally protect Sophia from her ex-husband. One night, After a quiet dinner, Ethan received a call. It was the security guard, informing him that a suspicious man was loitering around the restaurant. Ethan's heart raced. "I'm on my way." When he arrived at the restaurant, he found the security guard talking to an unknown man. "What's going on here?" Ethan asked, trying to stay calm. The man looked at Ethan with a cynical smile. "I'm just looking for someone. I'm sure she's here." Ethan felt a chill. "You're in the wrong place. Get out of here now." The man took a step forward, but the security guard intervened, grabbing him by the arm. "I think it's best if you leave before things get ugly." The man backed away slowly, but before leaving, threw a threatening glance at Ethan. "This isn't over." Ethan went back inside, his heart pounding. He found Sophia sitting at the table, pale and trembling. He was here, wasn't he? Ethan knelt beside her, holding her hands. "Don't worry, Sophia. He's gone. But we need to be even more careful now." Sophia looked into Ethan's eyes, seeing the determination and love in them. "Thank you, Ethan. I don't know what I'd do without you." Ethan hugged her, silently promising to do everything in his power to protect them. "We'll get through this together, Sophia. I promise." In the following days, the tension was palpable. Sophia avoided going out alone, and Mia noticed the change in her mother's behavior. "Mommy, why are you so sad?" Sophia tried to smile at her daughter. "I'm just worried, dear, but everything will be okay." Ethan knew they needed help to get through this situation. He contacted a friend who worked in the police, explaining the situation and seeking guidance. "We'll increase surveillance around the restaurant and your home," said the friend. "And if he shows up again, we'll take action." One night, while they were closing the restaurant, Sophia felt some relief seeing Ethan talking with the police officer. "Knowing we have help gives me a bit more peace." Ethan held her hand. "You're not alone, Sophia. We'll get through this." Finally, after weeks of constant vigilance, Sophia's ex-husband was arrested in another city for an unrelated crime. The news brought indescribable relief to everyone. "He's in custody," announced the police officer over the phone. "You're safe now." Sophia broke down in tears, a mix of relief and emotion. Ethan held her, feeling the weight of the tension lift. "It's all right now, Sophia. You're safe." Over time, normalcy began to return to Clark's Bistro. Sophia and Mia were able to relax and live without constant fear. Ethan, always by their side, felt a deep connection growing between them. One night, while they were sitting in the restaurant's garden, Ethan looked at Sophia with a smile. "You're an incredible woman, Sophia, and I'm so grateful to have you and Mia in my life." Sophia held his hand, her eyes shining with gratitude and love. "We're grateful for you too, Ethan. We couldn't have found a better place or a better person to help us start over." With the demons of the past finally faced, Ethan and Sophia felt ready to build a future together. Clark's Bistro continued to thrive, not just as a restaurant, but as a symbol of resilience, love, and unity. And as they watched Mia happily playing in the garden, they knew that, together, they could face whatever the future held. The sun had already set, and the lights of Clark's Bistro shone like a beacon of hope in the neighborhood. The night began to unfold with a deceptive tranquility, as Ethan, Sophia, and the team busied themselves preparing the restaurant for another dinner service. The atmosphere was charged with positive energy, but a threatening shadow loomed over them. While Ethan was in the office reviewing some documents, Julia entered with a worried expression. "Ethan, we need to talk. I received a strange call this afternoon. Someone threatened the restaurant." Ethan furrowed his brow, feeling a wave of concern. "What exactly did they say?" Julia handed Ethan the phone. It was a voicemail. "Listen for yourself." The voice on the recording was cold and menacing. "Close Clark's Bistro or you will regret it. This is just a warning." Ethan felt a chill. "We can't ignore this. I'm going to call my friend at the police department." Sophia, who had been passing by the door, stopped when she heard the conversation. "What's going on, Ethan?" Ethan hung up the phone and explained the situation to her. "We received a threat. Someone wants us to close the restaurant." Sophia turned pale. "We can't let this intimidate us." We've worked too hard to build all of this. With the help of Ethan's police friend, additional security measures were implemented around the restaurant. But the tension was palpable, and the team remained alert, ready for any eventuality. That night, as the restaurant was filled with happy customers, a man entered abruptly. He was dressed in black, with a sinister expression. "I need to speak with the owner." Ethan, who was at the counter, approached cautiously. "I'm the owner. How can I help you?" The man looked around, ensuring everyone was watching. "You received my message. Close this place or you'll face the consequences." Ethan stayed calm. "I'm not going to yield to threats. This is our home, and we're not abandoning what we've built." The man took a step forward, but before he could do anything, the security guard intervened, pushing him back. "You'd better leave now," said the guard, his voice firm. The man hesitated for a moment, then turned and left, muttering something unintelligible. The atmosphere in the restaurant grew tense, but the customers, sensing the gravity of the situation, began murmuring among themselves, supporting Ethan and his team. Sophia approached Ethan, gripping his hand tightly. "We'll be okay, Ethan. We're not alone." The next morning, Ethan and Sophia went to the police station, where they met Ethan's police friend. "We'll conduct a full investigation," he said. "But until we find out who's behind this, I want you to take extra precautions." With the threat still looming, Ethan and the team doubled their vigilance. But life at Clark's Bistro went on, with the community coming together to support the restaurant. The presence of loyal customers and new visitors brought a sense of security and solidarity. One afternoon, while Ethan was in the kitchen, Julia burst in. "Ethan, you need to see this." They went to the main dining area, where a crowd of customers was gathered, holding signs of support for Clark's Bistro. "We're with you," read some of the signs. "No to fear," read another. Ethan felt his eyes well up with tears. "Thank you all. This means so much to us." A woman from the crowd approached, holding Ethan's hand. "Clark's Bistro isn't just a restaurant. It's a symbol of our community. We won't let anyone destroy it." With the community's unwavering support, Ethan felt a renewed wave of determination. "We're moving forward. We won't let fear stop us." In the following days, the police investigation progressed, and they finally discovered that the man threatening the restaurant was part of a group attempting to extort local businesses. He was arrested, and the threat to Clark's Bistro finally disappeared. With peace restored, Ethan, Sophia, and the team could finally breathe easy. Clark's Bistro continued to thrive, stronger and more united than ever. One night, while Ethan and Sophia were in the restaurant's garden, watching Mia play, Ethan held Sophia's hand. "We've been through so much, but we've managed to overcome everything." Sophia smiled, squeezing his hand. "Because we're together, and as long as we stay united, we can face anything." And so, with hearts full of gratitude and hope, Ethan knew that Clark's Bistro was destined to be a place of love, unity, and resilience. Together, they were ready for any challenge the future might bring, knowing that the strength of their community and the love they shared would keep them steadfast. Winter had arrived in the neighborhood, bringing a fresh and festive atmosphere to Clark's Bistro. The Christmas lights adorned the restaurant's windows, creating a warm and magical ambience. Ethan and his team were busy preparing a special Christmas event for the community, something that had become an annual tradition. On the eve of the event, Ethan was in the kitchen, experimenting with new Christmas dessert recipes. Sophia walked in, wearing a red scarf around her neck and a bright smile. "The restaurant looks beautiful, Ethan. The decorations are perfect." Ethan smiled, feeling grateful for everything they had achieved together. "Thank you, Sophia. I can't wait to see the kids' reactions when they see Santa Claus tomorrow." Sophia laughed. Mia is so excited. She can't stop talking about it. The next morning, Clark's Bistro was filled with activity. The children gathered around a large, decorated Christmas tree, eagerly waiting for Santa Claus to arrive. The adults enjoyed hot chocolate and cookies while Christmas music played in the background. Ethan, dressed as Santa Claus, entered the room, causing a wave of joy among the children. "Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas to everyone!" he said, handing out presents and taking photos with the children. Mia, dressed as a little Santa's helper, ran around, helping to distribute presents. "Here's your present, Tommy. Merry Christmas." The joy in the air was infectious, and Ethan felt a deep satisfaction seeing the happiness on the faces of both the children and adults. Sophia approached him, holding a cup of hot chocolate. "You make a great Santa Claus, Ethan." Ethan laughed, momentarily removing the fake beard. "Thank you, Sophia." Seeing the joy on the children's faces makes it all worthwhile. As the party continued, Julia drew everyone's attention. "We have a special surprise tonight. A small tribute to Ethan and the entire Clark's Bistro team for everything you've done for the community." The lights dimmed, and a video began to play on a wall of the restaurant. The video showcased photos and footage of past events, moments of unity and joy that marked the history of Clark's Bistro. There were testimonials from customers, staff, and neighborhood residents, all expressing their gratitude and appreciation. Ethan felt his eyes fill with tears as he watched the video. Sophia held his hand, smiling with pride. "You did this, Ethan. You created a special place for all of us." When the video ended, the applause was thunderous. Ethan took the stage, moved. "Thank you all. This means more than words can express. Clark's Bistro has always been a dream of my parents, and seeing it become such an important place for all of us is the best gift of all. Merry Christmas." The days following the event were filled with gratitude and joy. The community continued to support Clark's Bistro, and Ethan, Sophia, and Mia felt more united than ever. Life at the restaurant was full of challenges and rewards, but together, they knew they could face anything. As the new year began, new opportunities and challenges arose. Clark's Bistro continued to innovate and grow, always maintaining the essence of unity and love that made it so special. Ethan, Sophia, Mia, Julia, Sarah, Jack, and the entire team were more determined than ever to keep building a bright and prosperous future. And so, with each new season, Clark's Bistro remained a beacon of hope, love, and success. The story of Ethan, Sophia, and Mia was a testament to the power of resilience, unity, and unconditional love. And as they watched the restaurant thrive, they knew that, together, they could face any challenge and continue to build something truly special for everyone. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to our channel now. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Leave a like if you liked it.